All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging, and I have Jeremy and Aaron in the wrong place somehow. How did I do that? That's maybe I'm just suffering from Pelletier, and I'm just getting them confused.
That's okay. We will forgive you this time.
All right. So anyhow, you all need to talk now for a second. So hi, welcome back. What do you think?
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
I would like to be Jeremy because he's quite tall and I'm quite not tall. So, and I'm super old and he's only
medium old.
So.
I'm just well seasoned at this point.
Jeremy, how tall are you? You're like 6'5" or something?
Yeah.
God, that's crazy.
He's a foot taller than I am.
A
foot.
Yeah.
A foot and an inch taller than me.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit more.
I had a years of service recognition banquet today. I had to go to because we have like for anyone who's on like their fifth year interval. So I'm there for 10, and even though I've been working there for 14, but for some reason they're only acknowledging the 10. And me and the people in my department who are all being recognized, we took a little photo together. I dwarf them. Like, it's crazy. I look so much taller than them, and you would dwarf me. That's how tall you are.
I'm a tiny guy in my family. Me and my dad are the small ones.
Yeah.
Most of my uncles are like 6'7", 6'8", legitimately. Just monsters.
So funny.
You Kansas boys, I tell you. Whatever they put in the water or the beef, whatever it is.
They're from the Dakotas, though.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Well, they're like the only two people in the Dakotas, though, right?
Yes, exactly. It's basically a hill giant tribe that just took over wherever the wagon broke down because nobody of their own free will would fucking settle in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Our apologies to any of our audience who are native South Dakotans.
They already know. They understand. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about Phoenix. I just feel like anyone who settled in Phoenix, it's just like, that's just hubris. Like, what are you doing? Come on now. Like, just keep going. Go to the coast. You're like, what? You're so close. Like one state over. Just nailed it.
Right here in San Diego, Gosh, keep coming.
Such a bad decision. Okay. Anyhow, let's get started. Everyone's in the right place. Last time around, we got the group back together. We saw a little bit of what happened with Vincent. Vincent, he got separated as you all were exploring the chapel. He heard some sobbing nearby. He was looking around. And he found through some hedges that had recently grown, because your estate looks completely unrecognizable. He found a ghost that was weeping next to a broken statue. And the ghost basically said that Althavira broke her husband's statue that was in one of the hedge mazes back here, and effectively destroyed his afterlife. She also said something about like Castelar, mentioned the name Castelar, which Vincent, you would recognize, and everyone else would recognize as well, who apparently was like possessing Althavira and motivating her to do some of this kind of stuff. They were rivals in some kind of way. So let's see other things, and we also had Castelar in the first arc of our campaign during the Canal Queen stuff. Let's see. Elsewhere, Chauncey, you and Arkadiy were trying to still keep things settled, but it's really becoming very unsettled as people have started going missing and such from like the noble floor. You asked Juliana Bonaventure to lead a search party for some missing guests and some other family members who have gone missing, while you, Randy, and Arkadiy went down and checked on some of the servants and your missing wife. In Orsyth, we kind of know the name now, Orsyth Mainwell, and we've seen it pop up a few times over in his workshop. We saw Fortuna found a magical charm. And Solavita, you were experimenting with that little magical archway that Chauncey and Arkadiy had stepped through. And you managed to sort of see at one point, as you changed the coordinates, so to speak, you kind of saw Vincent walking through what looked like the half-sunken, or at least partially sunken courtyard that you had last seen Althavira walking through. You stepped through, you grabbed Vincent, and you brought him back to catch up with you and Fortuna in the workshop. Meanwhile, Fortuna messed around with this token, which allowed her to literally manifest a door in the room that didn't have any up until that point. And when you opened it, you found a room, was amber scented, and it was filled with all these paintings of various locales. And one of them showed all of you and various other living Mainwallen family members gathered in a room that at least the painting called the Hall of Thirst. And they were all basically making blood sacrifices. And it looks like selecting your next matriarch. And the painting was signed by Valentina Mainwallen, who is Solavita's mother, Fortuna's sister, Vincent, you were able to see that the ghost of Valentina was sitting in a couch in that room, but she was like lost and delirious, as sometimes happens to ghosts who have been untethered or pulled from their funerary statues. I think especially Vincent and Solavita, you would know that there's a couple different things that you can do with funerary statues. Like if somebody knows your true name, like you can literally summon a ghost from their statue and like get it to do its bidding, or you can just break the damn thing and yeet it out of paradise, right? So the three of you left that room, came out into the second story of the estate. You chased after Chauncey and Arkadiy, who, along with Randy, found signs of struggle in the kitchen and all this root growth coming up through the pantry. You got down into this like hidden wine cellar that none of you were particularly familiar with, and you found this hulking snake that had digested, it seemed, or was in the process of digesting multiple people. So the three of you managed to dispatch the snake. Chauncey was nearly swallowed whole. And one of the victims had been Valentina, but just through some twist of fate, she managed to, in fortune, she managed to survive. Everybody else died. And at that point, that's when Fortuna and Solavita and Vincent had showed up, and all of you were effectively together. So let's go ahead. We'll pick up there just to make sure that you all have a second to sort of make your plans. So all five of you are there. Randy is there. Valentina surviving and covered in snake goo. All of you are together. What would you say you guys are thinking about doing next?
So glad that your wife is safe, Chauncey.
Me too.
Yes, this is all very good, but we must, I think we should get to this quite quickly. This all seems to be deteriorating quite quickly. Giant snakes with fox heads is not good. Perhaps we go to study, see what we can find. You fill us in on the way what you have found, Solavita, Fortuna, Vincent.
Yes, we should definitely read Tomtier's work. We should, if he's still in the room that we left him in, maybe we just take him with us as well. If we do a drive-by, walk by. We don't drive in this era.
I did not see him in there, but perhaps he is. Many people have run away, disappeared, and or been horribly slaughtered.
Did we get the Bonaventures at least?
No, they are allies. They lead another search party. Chauncey's idea. Very intelligent. Put the enemies in charge to help, and they will not, circumvent
exactly.
our
Give them a
authority.
focus. Why give them a chance to snipe at it? Let them feel important, and we can bitch at each other later.
Smart thinking as always, Chauncey. Off to Pelletier's study. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you retrace your steps. You go up that route. You get into the kitchen. Do you leave? Okay. So I asked you this before we got live, so you've had a few minutes to think about it. What do you want to do with Valentina? Do you want to leave her with Randy somewhere where you think might be safe, or do you want the two of them to come with you? What do you think?
Valentina, honestly, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, but I think this group has an idea for how to find a solution. I'm terrified to send you off without me again. If I have to see something terrible, I'd rather we're together, and at least I can be there for you in whatever capacity I can. So I wouldn't ask you to stay with us if it's not what you want to do, but I would much rather we stay together than send you off somewhere else.
She looks at you, and you can tell that she's suffering a little bit of shock at this point. She has spent an indeterminate amount of time inside of the digestive tract of a giant snake. So you can tell that she's still suffering from some acidic burns and things like that. And you can tell she's got some other wounds, nothing nothing too terrible, but she is certainly, she's not all there. So I think she's going to just say, well, Chauncey, my sweet, whatever you think is the best, whatever.
If we come across Miss Bonaventure, wonderful. And if they can help get you to a safe place, great. But until then, I'm not sending you off.
And Randy be like, hey, don't worry. I won't let nothing happen to her. No problem. I mean, I technically, I guess you could say I kind of did let something happen to her before she wandered off. I probably could have gone with her at that point, but I didn't. But hey, I learned the lesson.
You made up for it, Randy, by punching Snake in face.
Right in the face. Right in the face.
Right in face.
Yeah, that's right.
Only madmen do such thing. You're wonderful.
Hey.
I think
It's a good thing. Compliment.
actually,
Yeah.
Chauncey's going to take out a
All right.
coin and flip it because Jeremy honestly is just having a hard time choosing.
Make a choice.
Go for it.
For sure. I like it.
I have to help them, but I have a feeling it's all going to go terribly bad. And if something does happen, the children really do need you a lot more than they need me. So if you, I think it's a good idea. Randy can keep you safe.
Oh yeah, no problem. I thought you meant they needed me. I was kind of losing track. Yeah,
of
okay.
course,
You're talking to her,
Uncle Randy.
right? Sure. Okay. Yeah. No.
Well, we know where Miss Bonaventure was going to meet with us after the fray.
Okay.
You've got an excellent situational awareness. We know this.
Yeah.
You've got this.
I got this.
And
No
Fortuna
problem.
just sort of like taps
Cracking.
her cane on the ground. And she
Dear friend
pokes
Randy.
Randy with the cousin pot. You will
Oh
protect
yeah,
her.
that's me. Hey, that's right.
That's-
Hey, Randy's fine.
You
Randolio.
will- Protect her cousin pot.
Yeah. I thought I said that. Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
Randolio. Are you good
what?
with sword? You know how you use sword.
I mean, I know you take the sharp part, and I know you jam it into the soft part of another person, right? I know that.
You're punching very good, but perhaps, and he'll pull out one of his sea axes, one of his twin blades, hand it over to him. You use this if necessary. Give back to me next time you see me if I'm still alive.
Hey, look at that. Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we're gonna live forever. No
If
problem.
you try
I
to
got
steal it, of course I will have to hunt you down and kill you. It's family heirloom, but I know I trust you. I trust you.
I'm no thief. I'm many things. I'm not a thief.
That is good.
Okay.
Protect dear Valentina. Stay alive.
No problem. I got this. So we'll say you guys come back up, find that little noble floor. There's a couple people. There's still like the guard on the top of the second floor as well. So like she's not completely alone. And then there's the house guards there. Randy's here. A couple other people, stragglers. So if everything goes to shit, then she's screwed anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, and so then you guys head off in the direction of Pelletier Study, which you know where it is. So it's not like it's a difficult thing to find. And so eventually, and I'm assuming you're keeping we'll just credit you guys with catching each other up on what you've discovered or seen and all that kind of stuff as you're walking. But eventually you head over there. And when you push the push the door open, which is already ajar, by the way, slightly ajar, and you can smell like ash and ink, old paper, kind of wafting in, like smell of something having been burnt. It's not like the amber scent. More like something recently has been burnt. It's almost smoky. And when you look inside, you can see that there are burned books and parchments that have been scattered across like the flagstones of the floor, pretty much everywhere, and around this like broad sagging desk where that he mainly uses. It's right there at the room center. And one of the things that you all would notice immediately, that's definitely out of the ordinary, beyond just the disarray, is that there's a panel along the wall that you recognize the spiral symbol from the chapel, but you realize it's not there any longer. The wall panel is completely gone, and instead there is a narrow door, not unlike the one that you saw leading into that hall of portraits. You can see it's scorched, the frame, a little bit here and there. It's got the main wall and crest that you all are very familiar with around eye level. You can see off to the left inside, there is a tall liquor cabinet. Again, you've seen all this before, except it's sitting somewhat askance, slightly pulled away from the wall. And you can see it's been blackened by fire, and like the contents, the doors are hanging off the hinges, like shattered and scattered. There's glass and liquids all on the ground. And you can see off to the right, near the hearth, which isn't currently, there's no roaring fire in it currently, but you can see there's a bunch of cracks by the flagstone. And it definitely looks like it's a cold hearth right now. There's big heaps of ash in there as well, and there's something dripping from the ceiling. You don't see anyone inside, but that is what you observe. So, with that in mind, what is everyone doing as they come inside?
Immediately, I'd like to know if this is magical fire or was it man-made?
Good idea.
Sure. Yeah. So I would say no spend or anything. Vincent, as you kind of sense for maybe corruption or just the presence of sorcery, very much so, you can tell that sorcerous fire was used here. Some of it you can tell seems to be centered over by the door, that new door that has scorch marks, but there's also some by the fireplace area. So you can tell definitely somebody was using magic within here, no doubt.
They've been here before us. Is Pelletier around?
Yeah, no shit. Look at what they've done. They've destroyed all the books. Any information we could have gotten is gone.
Oh, almost all the good Buddhist is gone too.
I wonder if the books were target of Sorcerer's Fire, or if there was some other altercation in study and they were burned as a result of that. Is there any way to determine that?
Oh, can I see if there's any sort of markings that would indicate a scuffle using maybe skullduggery for looking for like little markings or like smudges?
Yeah. I think that's good. No points unless like spends if I call for it. But if you're like investigating the area just from like the perspective of like a burglar or somebody with thief, with like kind of like an idea of this and that, you don't get the sense that there was like any sort of fight in here. But one thing does seem kind of curious to you is like it does seem like something was dragged through like you can tell little flakes of blood and somewhat not particularly, I would say they're still fairly wet, so it's relatively recent, but you can see some flakes of blood and you can see some drag marks in some of the in some of this. It's all been kind of covered to some degree by like the mess that leads over towards the liquor cabinet.
And this is Pelletier's study, correct?
This is Pelletier's
yes.
study. You've all have been in here before, 100%.
I would toss out there that like during this shift, like one of my iconic items shifted to Pelletier's studies. I've spent a lot of time in here, so maybe something that maybe seems out of place to me.
Okay, yeah. So that's great. Okay, so you would know that Pelletier is very particular about his liquor cabinet. As you all know, he drinks a lot. Pretty much once he wakes up in the morning until he goes to bed at night, he's drinking. And to see that his liquor cabinet is askance, I would say you think it's been moved, but it's different than the other places. Like it looks like it's where some of the books and things like that and a little bit of the desk seem to have been like the target and the focus of some of this fire magic that Vincent was able to deduce. That just seems like it was just sort of like collateral damage, but nonetheless, it looks like someone has shifted the cabinet, which is a little peculiar to you. And Chauncey, I would also say, since you specifically said Pelletier study, I'm going to say you've always gotten the impression that Pelletier had a little secret stash in here somewhere, because he would like produce the most the rarest vintages of various like brandies and wines and things like that. And you just always had a sense that he kind of had a secret stash, because there were times probably when like the servants would come in and wouldn't bring it, yet somehow he would have it. So you're fairly certain somewhere in this room, he probably has like some kind of secret stash.
Okay, you've got a good eye for finding things. The liquor cabinet's askew, and I think maybe there's something to be looked for here. I'm going to guess that Pelletier has some sort of stash.
Like a secret panel, or...
Maybe. I don't know exactly how you set one of those things up, but I just feel like something should be here. And if there is to be a bottle of fine vintage, I want to find it in this moment.
Well, indeed. Let me look about. So Arkadiy will use vigilance
Yeah,
in and around the
vigilance
liquor
works.
cabinet to see what he can find.
Yeah. You hear something before you see something. You hear the sounds of like the tinkling of a bottle and maybe muffled voices coming through the wall. So you think there's something on the other side of the wall behind the liquor cabinet.
Do I find like a panel or any kind of latch or?
You would see that like if you start kind of moving around, if you slide the cabin a little bit and you realize like as you start hitting some of the panels, you think that there is like one of these loose stones, and as you press it, as you press your hand against it, you hear and you see this door open up, and it's it's something you'd probably have to duck under, but you could like kind of duck under it a bit. Maybe it's about 4.5 feet tall or so, but it's a small little door, and you see like a dark recess, but those muffled voices and the clinking you hear much louder, and you also hear shh, shh, shh.
So Arkadiy will pull his remaining blade out and duck under and slowly, quietly make his way in.
Okay. Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and just do like a quick stealth
Right.
if you're trying to get in there.
I will. I'll spend 2 points on it. Got an 8.
Okay. You come up and you veer around this sort of darkened patch, and you see a very dim lantern that seems to be sitting atop a grouping of shelves, and there are all these glistening glass. As you see, there are bottles all over the place, but right in front of them, you see 2 people. The first is Pelletier. You can definitely tell, and he seems a little bit worse for wear. You can see his clothes are a little bit disheveled. He's got a couple blood stains, and he's got a bottle in his hand that he's occasionally taking a swig from with all pretense off to the side. The second person you see on the ground is somebody who has suffered some significant burn damage. And it takes a second, Arkadiy, but because you rolled so well on stealth, you can literally stand in the shadows for like the next 5 days and they would never see you. You see Etta. And she seems to be in some rough shape.
Do I see any other way out of this, or is this just like
No.
basically a tiny little hidden alcove?
It's a tiny little alcove for him, and he's probably got a good 100 bottles of something down here scattered about the different shelves.
Dear cousin, Pelletier. Yes, it is I, Chauncey.
Oh, John. Oh, goodness. Oh, God. Thank God it's you. Oh, wonderful.
And you see he like nearly drops the bottle, but with quicker reflexes than you would expect him to have, his other hand sweeps underneath it and grabs it before it hits the ground. And Etta stirs a little bit.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness. Oh, it's been so horrible. Oh,
Yes,
goodness.
yes.
And you see he comes over to you and he's got like this panicked look on his face. He's got some blood. With your vigilance, you can tell it's not his. It's probably Etta's.
Well, your student, Master Arkadiy, is in the other room. I am sure that he's be very interested to hear what you have to say. I will help Eda out, and perhaps we can heal her a little bit of her suffering.
Oh, wonderful. Is Altavera is not still out there, is she? She's I
No,
assume she's.
We've been hunting her. Do you know where she has gone to?
Well, not in so many respects. I could. Well, if assuming she hasn't destroyed all of my research, I might have a guess or two. But
Well, much of it is burned, but hopefully you will be able to piece it together. We believe that she has been possessed by Castellar, an old Benoit, and is attempting to destroy perhaps the whole city. So it would be good if you could provide some assistance.
oh goodness gracious, oh poor Altavera. Oh God.
Eh,
Gracious. My dear friend, oh God, we must help her.
And you can see he starts panicking.
We must help her. Where's Solovita? Where's Vincent? Perhaps they can help her. Oh goodness.
Arkadiy lightly slaps him across the face. Get yourself together, man.
I presume we can hear this at this point in time.
All of this
doesn't sound very quiet.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not quiet at all.
Okay.
So
yes. What do you want? What's going on in here?
I found dear Pelletier and Edda. He is coming out to provide assistance, and Edda has been grievously injured.
Oh shit. Okay. Pardon me. Get out of my way, Arkadiy. Thank you. And she's going to sort of push.
Who is this?
In.
I'm not in your way. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God! I don't have time for
Arkadiy, is that you?
I'm going to ignore this, go in and spend 2 points of bind wound on Edda to just she'll kneel down and start trying to help her out.
Yeah, oh, for sure. That is enough to, that would be enough to pull her away from the. When you get down, you can tell that she has suffered burn damage. Mm-hmm. And like on half of her body, you can see some of her hair is missing, blisters. But as you start to take care of it, you can tell that like her lips are like discolored. And Pelletier's like,
I got one for medicine, but I just tried to make her a bit more comfortable with the 76. It's quite it's very much like a
oh my God, you
like
gave
an
her
anesthetic.
Drink to drink. Okay, thank you.
The pain was just she was being very loud. I didn't want the Altavira to hear us here.
What happened to her?
Cousin Chauncey, deal with that man, thank you. And by Chauncey, I mean Arkadiy.
Yeah. We'll assume at this point.
Pelletier, your infinite kindness is appreciated.
Oh, Arkadiy, I'm so happy to see that you're still alive. Oh, goodness gracious.
And so I'll say, just for the sake of it, he'll pull, you guys all come back out into the big room.
It's just like, I was left to my lonesome inside the portrait room. Everyone abandoned me. That's fine. I understand. And then, things started getting very frightening. As you can expect, I heard people screaming and shouts, this and that. And I had done a little bit of research over the years in presumption that at some point, dear Eliana, may she rest, would pass. And I wanted to know the exact process for it, but oh goodness, my beautiful desk.
And he looks at it, the desk is like sagging. Before he goes into a spiel, Fortuna or Vincent, what are the two of you doing? Are you looking around the room at all? Are you using any investigative abilities? Anything you're thinking of doing?
Fortuna would have been at his desk, so kind of whether it would be forgotten lore or
sure,
something along that line, poking through the desk and what he was working on and what was kind of out and about.
Okay, fantastic. Vincent, what do you think you would have been doing?
I'll probably scrounge through the room to get any salvageable materials that Peltor would probably need to use.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we'll start with Vincent and work our way back. Vincent, you go through and you can see that the cabinet has been mostly has been shattered, right? Like you can see lots of things have fallen and broken, and but you do notice that there is a panel in the back of the cabinet, like a false panel that you can tell has been kind of burnt away a little bit, and you can actually see that there are some intact bottles, fairly small. They're not like big wine bottles, that seem to be peeking out from a section of that false panel that has been burnt away. Everything else is shattered. That seems to be the only thing that you can see that's sort of not been like just utterly ruined.
I would make my way in, however possible.
As you like, and it's not hard. You can reach back. Everything's kind of busted. And you just sort of quickly pull the panel away, and you can see there's 6 different small, like all chemical stopping bottles, not big old bottles, all chemical stopping bottles, little corks in them, all of them dark. You can't really see the liquid inside of it. So like dark glass, and like you start kind of pulling those down. And when Pelletier sees you, he's like,
"Oh, excellent. Yes, Vincent, I'm afraid we might need that. Yes. Don't go drinking any of that now. You'll it play a little tricks on your memories. We don't want that to happen. Well, actually, maybe I wouldn't mind that after some of the things I've seen tonight. Whew, I don't know about you all. Fortuna. Oh, wonderful.
And Fortuna, as you're going through his desk, you find like he's like in also by the hearth where you can see again stuff has been burned. You do find some crispy pages that are somewhat intact, and one of them you see is a note that says on the functions of the right, RITE, and you can see like scorched marks, but occasional phrases that appears to be in Pelletier's hand, like his handwriting, which is atrocious, but it's there.
And when he sort of is discussing with Vincent kind of these little alchemical bottles, Fortuna would kind of nose into that. What is Vincent holding?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm not entirely sure that they, well, in truth, I don't yet know if they're, if it'll work. But it should come as no surprise. You are all very intelligent people. But the events of this evening, regardless of whether Altavira ascends or you, Fortuna, you could do it, girl. Yeah. So regardless of who ascends, the powers that be of the city have witnessed a very dark side of our family, and it will be very difficult for us to keep our standing in the city should any of these people be allowed to leave and testify to the dark dealings that our ancestors have engaged in. Let's just put it that way. So I was wondering.
Are these?
Oh, well, the poison. Yes, it's poison. Well, technically, it's ingredients for a poison. I myself am not particularly adept at the alchemical arts, but I was able to procure some of the items so that perhaps somebody else with more of the talent could piece it together, and we might disseminate it to some of our our guests.
Is poison deadly poison?
Well, not in the physical sense. What did she call it? She called it a mind wash tonic. Yes, well, yes. You see.
Do you have notes on this? I would like to see them.
Well, of course they were. Oh, well.
What did you memorize? No.
Well, I have all of the necessary ingredients.
Arkadiy and Solovita, the two of you might be familiar with this as he starts to explain it.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's a mixture that's meant to cause memory loss, you see. Sometimes it's used by leeches in the case of terrible surgeries and such, so that they could live a peaceful life. And other times it's used by various members of criminal organizations like Thieves Guilds and such, who just wish to alert potential testimony without leaving a blood trail. At least that's how it was explained to me during procurement. So it won't. I believe it won't kill them. To be honest, I haven't tested it myself, but I just assumed that unless we wanted to slaughter every one of our neighbors and all of the various representatives of Denari.
No, of course. What a wonderful testament to hospitality and mercy. Because who wants to remember this evening? Really, would it be terrible host to leave them with a memory of this? Better that when this is all done, we raise a drink to the health and appreciation and such things and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Drink your damn drink. And then...
Yes. Yes,
Arkadiy
well
has
said,
such
well said,
wayward
Arkadiy.
words.
Yes,
Okay,
Arkadiy is very intelligent. If only we could have a patriarch, I would vote for you, Chauncey.
Okay, well, I like the matriarch things. As a fairly proficient leechcraft, do I already would this be a recipe that I'd be familiar with enough to have it in one of my books, or would this be?
If the time comes where you would want to craft a mind wash tonic, it would take a leechcraft spend, and you would be able to craft several doses of it, assuming he has procured the appropriate items, which is something you would also potentially learn as well. But yeah, I think you would be able to do it.
Okay, Uncle Pelletier, show me what you've procured for this mind wash tonic.
And so
I am familiar with the mixture.
So Vincent, if you would please just bring the bottles over here and set them down carefully.
And so he starts going through each of them, and you can see some of them are liquids. Some of them, like he references, like certain powders that were acquired, like this fade leaf powder, and then others just seems to be some sort of solvent that kind of dissolves everything together. All of it seems, with again no spend necessary to just kind of understand the process. You think it all makes alchemical sense. You think this makes sense. The items, the things that he's referencing, all of that kind of combines together. It's just a question of getting the doses, getting the quantities. And he's like, I'm afraid the actual formula was right there. And he points over to a big stack of like blackened, ashy pages.
So I guess Solavita pulls out one of her notebooks on sort of medical practicing and sort of her experiences and flips it to the mind wash potion.
Sure, you could probably find something like that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so I think I know what it is. And she'll turn to everybody that is not Pelletier. Okay, I can probably make this. This is not beyond my capabilities, I would argue. Do we want to go this route, and would we want it now or later?
I think perhaps we need to focus on finding Altavira first, or splitting our efforts. If she gets too far ahead, it won't matter if we wipe their minds. We will have lost the game.
I think probably we want to make sure that everything has happened that we would want to wipe before we get to that point, because we wouldn't want to wipe their mind and then have more things happen, and then we need to try to do it a second
it's
time.
Not necessarily about wiping them in the middle. It's about having the potion ready.
Oh, well.
Because you're asking if we'll have time again later to do this.
Well, perhaps we split effort then. And
yeah.
We have Pelletier tell us what he knows of Altavira's plans. We try to find her while you make potion.
Yeah, okay. If you want to borrow Pelletier, Chauncey, that is completely acceptable. You can do that. I'll stay in here and brew a potion. Maybe Vincent can give me a hand.
I'd be more than happy to assist you, Sylvie, as you know, I am the only one who have actually.
Oh no, I'm fairly certain that Chauncey would love all of your brain power dedicated to his task.
I've never really thought Chauncey was someone who very much cared for me, to be honest with you.
Well, my dear cousin Pelletier, this is true. I do not care for you at all, but Arkadiy, who is my dear friend, thinks the world of you, and he knows that you can help us, so I acquiesce to his greater knowledge.
When times are tough, even the lowest of us know to look to something greater.
That's true, and as your elder, I aim to inherit a certain position of esteem, regardless of which matriarch elevates. However, as I said, many of my notes seem to foretone it. What exactly have you? Those right there.
Oh, no, it's. She closes her books, assuming that he's trying to look at her notes.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking to Fortuna. Yes.
Very good.
Yes. You have already rejected my help. So, yes.
That's true.
Was it Eliana that's put you to creating this, or was it Eltavir? You said she.
Creating
I am
what?
questioning who the she was. You said she had you create these. Who she?
Oh, well, the truth is that Altavera, I will be forthright with you, Fortuna.
I would expect nothing less.
Okay, well, we're all having a difficult night. I had up until tonight, my loyalties were to my oldest friend, Altavera. I think that is a perfectly understandable situation.
This was known,
however,
yes.
This was before she destroyed my study, attacked this strange woman, whoever she is, and
you've known her for years. She is not strange.
This is Henrietta.
Oh, this is Henrietta. Oh, goodness gracious! I don't recognize her at all. Look at that.
Yes, she's got the burns halfway down her face. Of course, don't.
Oh, that's true. That's probably it. Well, that's yes, of course. Anyhow, and this possession business that you that's a little alarming. I must say, Castlear, as far as I'm aware, historically, was not a. What's the phrase? Was not a man of
good
right
person.
mind.
Oh, he tortured people.
He is a Maidwallen, so by default, he is a terrible person. But he was not of right mind, is what I'm saying.
And that is who is now in dear Altavira's mind and body.
So absolutely, I certainly. I want to see no Maidwallens killed. The bloodshedding needs to end. We are a family. I know all of you are very tight with one another, and I understand that. But there are others you have recruited very well. Sadly, many of them have perished, but that is not the point.
So
I could tell you,
all of that to say, Altavira asked you to make those.
Asked me to make what?
The potions. You were telling me the she who asked you to make the potions.
Oh, no. It wasn't so much to make the potions. It was, no. The she, it was not Eliana. It was not Altavira.
Who was it?
It was Miss Bellini. Truth be told, she and I have had a passionate love affair for going on 30 years. At this point, we have kept it very quiet, as her husband would very much not approve of it. But she is a lovely woman and very talented, especially with the bubblies. And you all would know that as she's an alchemist, and she sells tonics and potions in your neighborhood.
And beer.
And beer, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
You know Bellini's bottles, basically, is a store.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
the hot wants with the hot wants.
Let me.
Well said, Arkadiy. Of course. Thank you. I knew if anyone would understand me, it would be you.
I'm trying to.
If I only had a son, it would have been you, Arkadiy.
In spirit.
Well,
so you're telling me that you made something that is akin to a poison at the.
I haven't made it. I procured the items.
You procured
it was.
For your
I was just taking,
and not for Eliana or Altavira.
No, of course not. I was, as I said, I was merely aiming to protect the family. From what I understood.
So our matriarch asked you to do this for the family?
No, Fortuna, I know this is very hard for you to believe, but I can do something for the family purely on my own volition, and that is exactly what I did.
It seems to be that our great and esteemed uncle realized the terrible position of what would happen during the transition, and if there were witnesses of people outside the family, they would either need to be taken care of or taken care of. And Pelletier, in his graceful manner, chose to take care of them instead of take care of them.
Yes, thank you, Arkadiy. You have spoken as eloquently as always.
Yes, Arkadiy, thank you so much for the 20 words to say the thing instead of 2,000. That's yes.
Oof. What an era this is going to be. Oh,
So,
Okay.
now that we established that, dear Pelletier,
Yes.
where did Altavira go?
Well, that is very difficult for me to surmise. What I can tell you is that I can tell you a few things that I managed to uncover while going through some of the records that I had come to possession of. You are aware of the what?
Pelletier, before you get too far into this winding tale, she pulls out the painting that her mother did. This location, do you know where this is?
Oh yeah! Oh my goodness! Oh, how very interesting. That
No, I don't
does
need
bear-
to know. That sounded like a yes. Yes, you're familiar with it.
Yes. Not in so many terms. But what I mean to say is, it bears a striking resemblance to the location where we will all ultimately have to enter in our decisions.
Well,
so to
yes.
speak.
Obviously, we're dealing with the blood stuff. But have you been to this location in Normanor? Do you know where it is?
Well, okay. To tell you, I have to start at the beginning. No, I'm sorry. It's just a little humor. What I can tell you is that location is accessible after a certain ritual offerings have been made to the. I'm sorry. This is going to be difficult for you all to hear. Oh, so you have heard. Wonderful.
Yep,
Yes.
Yep.
After a series of offerings to Borda, have been made, at which time the house will accept those offerings and will allow us entrance into this place. It
At
is
that
my
Fortuna-
belief.
It's going to take this sheet that she was looking at and sort of like put it in Pelletier's face.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Because it was
Everyone just
Foundations of the
interrupting me.
Right. I
This would
think.
be so much smoother if you would just let me pontificate for a bit, but so be it. Yes. As I was trying to say, you have heard the former matriarchs have told you of Cole. Cole those that do not, would not vote for you. Those who would dissent. Okay, yes. Does he understand? Cole.
Yes.
Also, Vera
Big
killed.
Skull Feast. Yes.
Yes.
She kills all of the Manwallans who Fortuna brought into family.
Exactly. Yes, of course. Or not so much who she brought in, but those that she deems as being obstinate and could not be convinced otherwise. There is apparently a very gruesome process of using the former matriarch's tongue to voice a particular desire to be considered for succession. And then there's Feast. Oh, Fortuna, you are probably going to regret this, but Feast is a very literal term. From what I could tell from my studies, the chosen, whoever that might be, I thought for a while you, Solavita, might be. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic again. Anyhow, you have to eat of her, of Borda. You have to
Understood.
You have to feast on her after the offerings are made. You have to devour a piece of her flesh that will become accessible to us. For apparently she slumbers somewhere beneath our grounds. I don't pretend to understand it, of course, but I can tell you this, that until Until we make a decision, the house will just not relent. It will continue unfolding, and I worry that something far more dire could happen. Anyhow,
I feel I'm going to regret asking this.
oh yes.
Do you know Orsith? Do you know Orsith Manuelin?
Forsyth. Oh yeah. Very interesting. Forsyth. Yes, that name. Oh yes, he's a
magical architect for a lot of our manor. Yes, he created a secured power source somewhere below our area in the form of a sacred void. Are we talking about the Borda there, or are we talking about something else?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Solomita, that is a little beyond me, but I would be very surprised if there is both a slumbering demon god, for lack of a better term, and something else as well. That would perhaps be what the improv artists call putting a hat on a hat, you'll see.
Yes, I think I can follow that example. Okay, well, I think I should make the mind wash now so that we have it ready. If you guys want to keep going, I will try to catch up.
I still want Pelletier to answer a question. Where is Altavira?
Yes, thank you. All I know.
Sure, we have another 30 minutes.
Oh, goodness gracious. There are offering sites around the estate. She is making an offering of flesh and blood, and I'm not certain of the third. Once all three are made, we will be able to call the vote. I believe she goes after them now. I was in here during one of those moments where the manor unfolded itself, and right before my eyes, the wall changed, and a door. I have not yet been inside. I believe that Altavira might have been, judging from the scorch marks, but...
Excellent. Let's go.
Am I... am I...
Oh, you're coming too, of course.
Of course, yes. Yes, of course.
You are
can
family.
Be convinced, yes, whichever way
I will vote
this should go.
As what will protect the family's interests moving forward. That is my sole concern.
Okay.
But perhaps not the mad woman with ghost of psychopathic sorcerer puppeting her body.
New information has come to light, putting into question my original voting decision.
We obviously want the mercy for your long and dear friend. We understand that, and we are so grateful for your guidance in this time of need, and thank you, Pelletier, for coming with us. We know you'll do the right thing, and we're so glad that you were with us. We couldn't do it without you.
Arkadiy, it's just, there's nowhere I would rather be than here with my, the closest thing I have to a son.
I hate to speak less of myself. I couldn't be here and appreciate you the way I do without Fortuna guiding me this way. So I will give her some credit.
Arkadiy, don't take this the wrong way, but why do you smell like a snake's asshole?
I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time sniffing snakes' assholes. Is this
you really must try it.
Dear Pelletier, you will be even greatly more impressed. He dove down the throat of a giant snake to save my beloved wife, Valentina.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That's so wonderful. Oh, you are so fortunate to have such a brave young man as Arkadiy.
He is a stalwart companion and good man.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better myself, of course.
I've had excellent mentorship. That's clearly the only reason for it.
Yeah, well, stop it, of course.
Fortuna impatiently taps her cane on the ground.
There might be a vote later. Let me suck up to him.
And she appreciates, because if you didn't say that, she was going to say, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any more culling that needed to be done.
Okay. No, Arkadiy's the real Arkadiy's fully prepared to do some culling.
Would the real Arkadiy please stand up?
Okay. Fortuna will sort of kind of tap her cane. Do we know where we are off to next?
Through door. that appear that is scorched. If this is where Altavira went, perhaps we should simply try to follow her.
Where the spiral used to be.
Sylvita, you are okay?
I will stay here, and I'll get this potion started and made, and then I'll follow after you. Vincent, would you like to help me with this, or would you like to continue in the group?
If we are to fight Sorcerer, perhaps we should have the Sorcerer with us?
Right, but I'll need Solovita. I can't do it alone. I'll help her. We'll get it done faster.
All right.
I think that might be a good call. And also, let's be honest, if Chauncey was, if Arkadiy was really mean to Vincent for an extended period of time, he would go down very quickly. If you hit him in the face a lot, he actually stands up for a long time. So I feel like it's more...
Yes, well, I was more concerned about, fire-throwing sorcerer who is currently wearing Altavira like a suit.
Well, maybe that will counteract the ice I see creeping up your arm a little.
You've got against the fire-throwing laser beam sorcerer on the ship. Usually fine.
I've quite had my share of those. No.
Laser beam then.
So meta question. Like, are we thinking that this procedure that Solovita would need to do, like, are we thinking that this is something that's going to like take a long period of time, or like, are we splitting the party unnecessarily? Like, I just want to take a step back for a second.
I think, all the ingredients are there. It's really just sort of playing around. If she makes a leechcraft spend, it would take her 5 minutes to piece together.
I was going to take a leechcraft spend.
You're good.
Niece, I have every faith in your ability to do this quickly if necessary. I would prefer that now that we are together, that we stay together and we do what we need to do when we need to do it.
Okay. I will get started. And then, Vincent, can you double check on it, make sure she's comfortable? And let's leave her in the tiny hidden area so she doesn't get attacked, if you would. And, give her a blanket. I will get working. And I will spend a leechcraft.
Okay. Yeah. And so while you're doing that, and Vincent is putting Etta back in a safe hiding spot, the rest of you begin kind of looking through the store. Very narrow door.
Curiosity, are any of Palantir's vintages of a particularly flammable nature, or are they more like wines and stuff like that?
It's more like wine and like dessert. Okay. He likes the sweets. He
likes the sweets. Okay, I get it. No Molotov for me. I understand.
No bitters.
Honestly, if you want to, do you have any ridiculous luck left?
I don't want to spend my last ridiculous luck on a Molotov. I'll save that for, I don't know. Fair
enough. Okay, so the narrow door, it's scorched. You can tell it had like waxed seals around it, but those have been burnt away. And it opens up to a very narrow staircase. It goes down about 3 or 4 steps, big steps, but not, nothing that anyone would have trouble with. A child might have trouble with it, but not adults. And you can see light coming through. And Arkadiy, assuming you're first and you're peeking in stealthily, you can see that it is it's a very large and recessed chamber that seems attached to the study. It doesn't seem like it's like its own separate thing. It just seems like one large chamber extending out from it. You can see that there are curved walls and alcoves around the sides. You can see that at the base, like the walls themselves are like this black stone, smooth. And then higher up, you can see there's these patched sections of like marble and plaster with these cracked frescoes. And some are restored, some are fractured. You can see like shelves all around, and they're buckling, you can imagine, from both age and what looks like pressure, because you see they are cluttered with stitched parchments and what looks like chiseled grotesques, these small statues with these hideous looking faces. And you can see more of them are kind of sitting in some of these alcoves, because many of the alcoves have collapsed, and you can see there's just rubble, and you can see heaps of these grotesques kind of just sitting in them. And you can see all on the far side of the room, and this is all lit, by the way. So you can see there's plenty of light in this room. Across, you can see there's like a bone white pedestal, and it looks like it's like sitting in one of these alcoves. And it's like the only thing that's still intact in terms of pedestals. And you can see it's bearing like from a distance, like a couple tomes or something like that. And across, but it seems like it's on the other side of this chamber, because in the center there is like a pit. And as you as you kind of sneak in a little bit and peek down, it's not that deep of a pit, just a handful of feet. And you can see there is a spiral of desks. And each of them has on it a flickering bronze lamp that is what is the source of light coming up out of here. You can see quills twitching across unfurled vellum and seemingly no one writing, but somehow writing is happening. Like it's just twitching and writing. And it's hard to see exactly what they're doing, but it looks like it's a mixture of writing and drawing. You're not sure exactly. You look around, you don't see any exits other than the one you came in, but this looks like some kind of scriptorium. You would probably guess something where people write, like kind of connected to a library, like that kind of thing. And that is what you all see as you step down.
What do you make of this, Vincent? This spiritual scriptorium here within this shallow pit?
Possible offering site, ritual of sorts.
Is this some sort of sorceress ritual? Is this part of there?
Can you see who is doing the writing?
I see no one at these desks. The quill dances across the pages of each desk by itself. And it is some script and other things on the page. Perhaps this is why I asked Vincent. Perhaps it is of some sorcerer's tongue.
Are there ghosts writing down there?
Yeah,
Like-
perhaps.
Do I get a sense of spirits?
A ghost writer, you say?
So if you're using spirits, I'm waiting for you guys to tell me, by the way, investigative abilities. I feel like we've played long enough. You got to tell me what you're doing. And so if you're saying you're using your spirit sight, if your eyes kind of blink them a little bit and you focus and you see as you look down in this pit that there are spectral writers and illuminators. And you can see that they are dressed in various the decent attire. You can tell some of them, you can see most of them are wearing what look like some kind of nice looking robe of some kind. And they're all writing. And some are clearly drawing illuminated manuscripts of some kind. You can even tell that when your eyes shift into the spirit realm, that the illuminations themselves become more pronounced. Anyone can see a little bit of it, but for you, it's like enhanced in some way. But you can see there's like about a dozen different desks spiraling around in that pit. There's a small set of stairs that goes down to the pit as well.
You there? What are you writing?
And you can see the hands don't seem to stop. The other thing I would say, Vincent, as none of them respond, when you look up and across the way at the pedestal, you can see that there is something swirling around it. Some kind of, almost like a curse. Like something has been, some sort of magic is left on it. And when you turn to tell Arkadiy what you see, you also notice, by the way, that his arm and his entire body has a similar kind of pattern, as he seems to be suffering from a curse as well. It does seem that it's its entire body, but it's seems most egregious or most advanced along his arm. But you can see a lot of things are kind of popping up now as you blink into the spirit realm.
Arkadiy, I haven't noticed before, but you've been cursed.
Oh, yes. I switched that got me years ago. Be the death of me, I think, unfortunately.
No, it can be removed. Curses may be powerful, but there's a way.
Well, dear cousin Vincent, that is the best news I have heard ever since the house decided to try to swallow us.
It's similar here to the pedestal. A curse around it.
Interesting. Can you break a curse around pedestal?
Definitely attempt to.
Okay. So, Vincent, you're going to walk around this pit in the direction of the pedestal. What about Fortuna and Chauncey? What are the two of you doing? And again, if you could please just tell me like what investigative ability you might be using here as you're like, or what you're trying to accomplish. Like that would be helpful, as there are There are things to learn if you want them.
So did I hear correctly that there were mosaics as we were kind of coming
mosaics. So there's definitely some mosaics. There's like the desks like in the pit down there. There is some like warp shelving as well. You can see tons of scrolls and these little like grotesque statues and things.
So I would say that Fortuna would want to use like nobility or forgotten lore, looking at the mosaics and see kind of what there is to see on those.
Sure. I mean, looking up, you would see very clearly robed figures. They all seem to be offering blood to what looks like a chained and tumorous shape that is kind of beneath the manor in some ways. And using your sort of specific nobility, but also to some degree, like the things that you've learned thus far, you definitely see one intact section showing that there's a woman that's literally kneeling at the base of this large void, and there is a mass, and she is like tearing with her teeth at the mass.
Oh yes, that is the feasting that Pelletier was referencing right there, and she kind of uses her cane to kind of point at that in the mosaic. It definitely is. Picture is coming into focus. What is coming ahead of us?
What about you, Chauncey? What do you think?
Chauncey doesn't necessarily have like the greatest grasp on sorcerer stuff, but he kind of has an idea of like self-fulfilling prophecy, and he knows there's ghostly writers that are writing stuff that's happening and may happen. So he'll go to the areas that Vincent pointed out where people are writing, and he'll start kind of trying to do the equivalent of scurrilous rumors to the ghost writers. Be like, no, overcoming all odds, Valentina came from behind and was victorious. True, the classic stuff, really. Okay. Just trying to spread to see if he's curious to see if he can do that, if they'll start writing something different. Because for all he knows, if he can get the ghosts to start writing something different, maybe it will impact what happens in the future. He doesn't know how magic works.
Right. Well, let me tell you what happens when you get out of the pit first. And
I'm sure it may go terribly.
Right. So when you head down there, like you can tell that every one of these desks, very pale looking, like they're all covered in various ink stains. Mm-hmm. Some of them are just black. Some of them are different colors, because you can see there's definitely illuminated manuscripts that are being crafted. You can see that each one of them has like a bronze lamp that as you walk past each bronze lamp, it seems to glow even brighter. And you can see that each of them are working on some, it comes across to you almost like a holy script or a holy book, a holy manuscript for Borda. And you can see very familiar shapes, very familiar imagery. You can see like this story that's being told of like her coming up from the swamp, and like it's almost like retelling the founding of Eversink, but doing so through like this the guise of Borda instead. And then it's depicting like Denari kind of coming and sort of outcasting her. So it doesn't seem to have anything at all to do with Althavira or Fortuna or anything like that.
But they are kind of doing like weird Borda prophecy type stuff. So maybe if he sees that, maybe he wants to try and look at the pages more to get an idea, like a hint of something they should do in the future. So maybe instead of going more like rumor spreading to try and get them to write stuff about Fortuna, maybe instead he does more of the trustworthy. Like, could you let me see the page before that? What was the thing you were just working on? It's fine. I'm part of the family, and it's all gonna be what it'll be anyways. Just what was the thing you were just writing? If I could just see that page before, maybe.
Okay, 1 second. Okay.
Oh, we got a dice roll.
You feel a great deal of coldness wash over you, and you feel a voice and a mind pushing into your own. I have made an attack. This is essentially a maneuver. So if you recall what a maneuver is, you've effectively been it's a sorcery attacked against you, basically. But I have made an attack as I'll just tell you, revealing for player, it's attempting to possess you. is what's happening. As you have leaned close and interrupted its work. So I just want to make sure I'm doing this right before I possess you. So
this is great.
We get practice with pulling a ghost out of someone now.
okay.
Hey,
So
silver lining.
okay, you can. All right. So I have made a maneuver against you. As effectively what I've done. So the possession allows me to spend a certain number of malice, which I've done, and I've set a difficulty. Now you either have to allow this thing to possess you, or you have to suffer morale damage equal to the difficulty -2. Your grit would reduce the damage. So it's up to you. Would you either do you want to allow the possession, or do you want to suffer morale damage?
I mean, if he's aware of it happening, I don't think Chauncey wants to get possessed. He's scared shitless of all this nonsense.
You hear voices like screaming at you, and like it's a lot of like shushing and things like that going on, and like you can feel it enter into your brain.
I'm being quiet. Like, go. I'll fucking no. Stop. I'm quiet. Shh. No, I don't think he wants to be possessed. If he can, if he has some inkling that he has a chance to resist it, he would resist it. I mean, he's a cowardly bastard. He doesn't want to be possessed.
Okay. You take 4 points of morale damage.
Okay.
As you hear the screams and the voices of someone just like, it doesn't even really make a lot of coherent sense. It's just like this cascade of shouts and shouting you down for your interruptions. And not only that, but you feel a swirl of cold. Vincent, you see coming up from the pit all of these spectral images you can see crawling up over the sides of the pit. You can see some are literally like kind of flying up in the air, and they're starting to scatter around as these ghosts have left their desks and are beginning to scatter into the various areas of the scriptorium. We're going to go into initiative tracking now at this point. So let's do that. I'm going to say Solavita, you said you were making the leechcraft, but you are not that far away. You are just a couple of steps up, so you would be able to hear screams, and so you would be able to get
You think I'm coming to save you?
Not me. I'm fine. Okay, so I'm going to give it to Vincent, because Vincent, you got the start of combat here. You and maybe Arkadiy, I'm not sure if Arkadiy was moving with you, have moved over to the opposite side of the room towards the pedestal, but you hear Chauncey kind of freaking out a little bit. And when you turn to look, you can see all of the ghost writers, the scriptors and the illuminators are crawling up out of the pit, and you can see some are kind of leaping up and some are chasing towards you, and they're just scattering to different sections of this room. So Vincent, what would you do?
I try and give everyone the ability to sense the spirits here, give them a better vision.
Okay.
So I'll spend the spirit's light point needed.
Okay. What does that look like as you reach out? As you like kind of, is it some sort of spell? Do you like shoot your chains out? Like what does it look like when you try to like get everyone involved?
Yeah, my chains will link to everyone. They'll get a sense of my sorcery flowing through them. Their eyes start glowing. They could start seeing the visions better. It just peels back the curtain.
So those of you in the room will say, so Fortuna and Arkadiy and Chauncey and Pelletier, as well as you brought him with you. He is panicking a little bit.
Arkadiy, are you okay? Arkadiy, oh goodness, oh gracious. Oh, Chauncey, something's happening to Arkadiy.
Okay, anything else you're doing, Vincent?
We're in initiative. Is there one in immediate danger?
Chauncey, for sure.
Yeah.
As Chauncey is at the base of the... And it does look like the ghosts do not look to be pleased as they are crawling out.
Then I'll move towards them. Just be next to them.
Okay, so you move across, you start going down the steps, and you catch down to Chauncey, who probably has like his hands over his head or something like that. And you see that there is like literally a ghost that is reaching into his brain and pushing through the temple. Who would you like to go next, Vincent?
I'll let Chauncey go next. Don't listen to them, Chauncey.
What are you doing? Get back to work, you worthless fool! What insolence! What arrogance! What purpose do you have other than to write? What are you just going to jump into me? What's it going to accomplish? Nothing. And then you'll have accomplished nothing. You can spend your time trying to get into my brain, or you can get back to work. You worthless dolt! Do you want to be nothing, or do you want to create something? Get back to creating, you worthless piece of trash! And I'll do a sway attack.
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
attack.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's really freaked out, and so I'll put a lot into that.
Okay.
He's really freaked out at being swayed, so I'm going to put 5 into that.
Okay.
10?
Wow.
That will be a crit. That will be a crit.
Nice.
So it'll be 2d6
I would
plus
say
1.
Optionally, you could also do because it's 10.
You
could also.
I do
hit
have the
everybody.
sway the crowd thing where I could have 4 go into a secondary thing.
Right. So you rolled a 10, which would actually be 2 intervals of 3 over top of 10.
Oh, well then, yes, I would like to do that very much, please.
Okay.
He just wants to yell at as many of these spirits as possible to get back to work. They're wasting their time, and how dare they?
Okay. So this is, I can't remember the name. What's the name of the talent again? I totally forget it.
So it's sway, and the thing is called play to the crowd.
Okay.
Although
so if you're
there is a bullet point in there that says attacks using play to the crowd never score a critical hit. So
you can't do AoE and crits at the same time. It's one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah. So if your attack roll exceeds a target social by 3 or more, and you have the talent, you can activate the talent to hit more than one target. For every 3 points you exceed their threshold, and you did it twice, so you basically can target three with this.
Yes, please.
Okay, go for it. Give me the damage.
So d6 plus 1.
Yep.
All right. Do. Please be good. 5.
Okay. Okay. You can tell that the one near you, as you shout at him, like recoils all of a sudden, and like 2 more that were climbing up the side of the pit stop and kind of turn with shock in your direction. They seem at first to be almost like they're about to do what you're going to say, but then they recognize who you are, and they revert back to what their other intentions were. And so you can see a few more climbing up, and the one that was attacking you, kind of like their face contorts. At first, it just looks like a normal man, nothing special. But then suddenly the face like shifts and changes. You see the mouth grows sideways along the cheek, almost up to the temple, and it kind of opens wide at that point, as if it's going to devour your head. But you did, in fact, do damage. Who goes next? Chauncey?
This is weird, creepy, spiritual stuff. Vincent's done his thing. I'm gonna ask for Solvi to help.
Okay. Solvita, you hear Chauncey screaming. What is Chauncey saying that is so convincing?
Just go now, get off of me! Go back to writing stuff. Just get off of my face.
Okay. Chauncey, hold on a second. Okay, I put this down. Okay, let's go. So she'll hustle into this doorway to view what she can see. I don't have ghost sight because I wasn't near Vincent at the time.
Right.
Can I target ghosts like this?
I don't think you would be able to do any, unless you have some sort of special like corruptive ability that you're attempting that would hit like an AoE sort of situation. I don't think you would be able to do anything to, because they have invisibility, and they are also insubstantial. So you would have to have something sorcery that could attack like an area.
Then instead, what I would like to focus on is, because I look around and I can see people getting attacked, but I can't see what is attacking. I can deduce it's ghosts, and I can see him struggling against something specifically. So I'm going to try, if I'm allowed, to do a sorcery roll of some kind where I'll maybe like roll the ground under him and push him back towards me and towards the door back outside.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, totally.
Like 2 points and then I'll roll a d6.
So yeah, we'll do. You'll make us. You do your sorcery test. Are you making this like a corruption spin? Is that the idea?
No. Sorry, I'm just like a sorcery, like a blast, but not. I'm just trying to pull him back with a sorcery move.
So you're trying to like launch him up out of that pit And,
yeah, he might take a little bit of HP damage, but he'll be away from the ghost.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and roll a sorcery test. I got a difficulty in my head.
Oh, I got the 4.
4 is fine. You're not targeting like it's a friendly. He's panicking, and you're just and the ground is stone, and so you just launch him up. Chauncey, give me an athletics test to see if you land without harm.
Okay.
It's Jeremy rolling jumping, not Melissa, so everything's going to be fine.
True. I'm going to put a +1 onto that just because.
Nice.
All right, 5 is fine. You leap. You probably fall. You're probably not standing, but you manage to like land in a way that is not going to harm you. Okay, and there you are on the ground.
I got you.
You have Vincent. You would see that the ghost that was kind of trying to gnaw into Chauncey's brain did not yeet with him and is instead next to you in the pit. Okay.
Oh, I love you, Solavita, so much. You're such a good person.
Who would you like to go next?
Also, I think Tuesday is good for the play date between our children. I don't want to here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're
I'll
good for
bring
that.
you oranges this time.
Oh, that sounds great. I've got some cookies going, and I think anyway. Fortuna, you're really good at yelling at people. I heard a bunch of yelling by Chauncey about going back to work. That seems like something you're also good at.
Yes, and Fortuna just kind of gets to sort of around kind of the edge of where this sort of pit area is. And as she's sort of been doing, she just sort of like taps her cane on the ground, and she's leaning on the cane quite a bit, but she kind of stands up a bit straight, and this is going to be a spend with sway and kind of going with command. And so she's kind of going to say, I am about to be the matriarch of this family. And if you are in this home, you are to do what you need to do. And your place clearly is there doing the writing that needs to be done. You are taking time away from this very important task that you have, and you are to return to doing this. And she's very clearly saying, like, this I command you. And so this will also be a sway.
Yeah, sway +3 because of the command, for sure. Okay.
All right, so spending on the command. I rolled a 1. So
Jeremy, you did 5 damage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 5.
You got a 4? Okay. 4 is the total? 4 total?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a hit. I'm assuming you're targeting, because you can see the ghosts all around, and you're shouting down into the pit. Fortunately, you didn't roll a crit, so you're not going to be able to target most, but we'll say that the one that's closest to Vincent now, since Chauncey has been yeeted out. So we'll say that. Give me your damage roll.
And then I'm looking...
26 +1, unless you're making any kind of spend. 1d6 +1. 1d6 +1 for damage, unless you're making some kind of investigative point spend to get more damage.
Yeah, so I had the command point spend.
That was to hit. That was a +3 to hit.
Okay. I rolled a 4.
Okay, 4 damage. Okay. You shout down in all your state. At the one that is now standing next to Vincent, and his head kind of turns first to watch as Chauncey gets launched out the ground or out of the pit from like a stone block that just lifts up. And then its head continues to turn as you start to shout at it. And when you look at it, its head is twisted and contorted in this sort of grotesque fashion. And as it looks at you, you're not certain that it sees itself as less to you. And it begins to move in your direction. Like it's like kind of now turned its attention to you.
Miscalculation.
You've done some damage. Right. I'm not going to say you have it. It's just it seems to have angered it as much as anything else. Yeah. Okay. Who would you like to go next? Options
The
include
ghosts.
Arkadiy, Pelletier, and the ghosts.
Oh my
Arkadiy.
god, we could find out what Pelletier can
Okay.
do.
Arkadiy looks around, looks at these ghosts, sighs, shakes his head, and he quietly and stealthily edges around the room and goes back up into the study. He has nothing to attack them with. He's got no ability to hurt a ghost, period. I don't even have any sway.
Okay. Arkadiy flees. Arkadiy slips out.
No, he recognizes he's dealing with an enemy he cannot fight.
Tactical
I
retreat.
beg your pardon. Strategically retreats.
So bravely ran Arkadiy. So bravely ran away.
Okay.
He saunters and is sighing
Yes.
the whole time. He's like, "You knuckle fuckers. Jesus Christ. How do you enrage a group of ghosts?"
Okay. Who would you like to go
That's
next?
fair.
Oh, the ghosts, for sure.
Okay. All right. So I have.
I don't want them to go
count.
twice back to back. That would be horrible.
Okay. There are. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm counting. There are a total of 10
Oh god.
ghosts. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry. I'm going to do some fun things with them.
They
and
are
I was wondering if this would
immensely
happen.
fun.
I assumed it would. I assumed someone was going to.
Yeah, they're tough enough that 5 is enough to take him out. So 10 of them is
Oh.
really scary.
I was really hoping Fortuna coming into her own was going to be useful, and it was the exact opposite of useful.
Try again.
Exact
You can do it.
Opposite of useful.
Okay. Just for the sake of everyone's sanity, I'm going to have them go together. Just assume that they're going to pick
Okay.
the next person to go each time. And then we'll have Pelletier go last. Okay. First, the one that initially tried to possess Chauncey, but failed at doing so, is now going to climb up the pit and is going to land, kind of come over his railing and land at Fortuna's feet. So there's going to be one that is right next to you, Fortuna. And
Okay.
they're going to, as their head grows like distorted in shape, it's no longer this ovular shape. It begins to grow in these different directions. The mouth draws out to the right. The head kind of almost becomes conical. Is going to make a fear attack on you.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Actually, wait, no, this is automatic. I'm sorry, this is automatic. I should have done this before.
Eek.
I mean, it's not
Fortuna?
automatic. I have to spend points.
Okay. Fortuna is afraid.
Hang on.
Very
Hang on.
afraid.
I got a lot of points to spend. Don't worry. Okay, so first it's going to attempt to possess you. So it's going to do the same thing to you, which it attempted to Chauncey. And it's going to lean in and it's going to try to press this disgusting, hideous face against you.
Oh.
What is your? This should probably hit because your morale threshold's 4? I would assume.
Yeah, 4.
Okay, so again, this sets the difficulty. You can either be possessed or you suffer the difficulty -2 in morale damage. Would you like to be possessed?
This.
Altair did it. It's working out for her pretty well.
I mean,
What's the worst that could happen?
I could murder every family member that I've recruited over the last 5 years. I will try to. I'll take the morale damage.
Okay,
I
it's
don't
just
want to
2.
be
I rolled
possessed.
poorly. It's just 2.
Okay.
However, I will have this one since I'm doing this weird nonsense with its head. I'm going to spend the malice to do a fear attack. So basically, this is just another 3 points of morale damage. Okay, so that's
Sorry,
one.
say that again.
Just another 3 points of morale damage to you.
3 points. Okay, thank you.
And it's basically a fear attack. He's continuing to contort his head. He's continuing to try to press his face into you.
And Fortuna is
Vincent.
continuing to just try to lean away and like, no.
Vincent, the 2 next to you will begin to do the same thing to you. Each of them will attempt to one of them will attempt to kind of press itself into you. Okay. So it's going to do the same thing. Tracking malice. Okay. Same thing to you. I've rolled. You can either choose to be possessed, or you could take the morale damage -2.
You lived your life, you will not have mine. And I'll resist.
Okay. And I should note, by the way, all of you taking morale damage, don't forget about grit. You all should have at least 1 grit from your stuff. So that does reduce your morale damage. Don't forget about that.
Okay. Let me go back and adjust.
So then I would have taken 2 and then taken 3 because it was 2 separate.
Yes, there are 2 separate things. Okay. All right. So you're going to... Sorry, Vincent. You're going to take 6 points of morale.
Oh no.
That's all. I will spend my spirit sight to gain... What's the gain here again?
I think it's a +3.
Oh, you're talking about the spend to...
Yeah, I'm able to gain grit. Let me see where that is again.
Spend 1 pull point to gain both armor and grit for the scene equal to your spirit sight rank.
Oh.
Effective only
Yeah,
against sorcery attacks and attacks from adversaries with the insubstantial spatial ability.
This would count.
That's the
They
one.
do have the
insubstantial space ability, yes.
They have it. Yep. Okay, so it was 8 damage coming to you, minus whatever you got from that.
So I have 3 total in spirit sight, so I get 3 grit with it, I think.
Nice.
Okay, so go ahead and subtract, and then take that amount of morale. I'm going to save that one's malice.
You said
Are you in the minus now?
You said 8 total was coming towards me?
It was 8 total. Yeah, I rolled a 6 against you, and then I spent
in one
2
attack
malice
or
in the
2
attack.
separate ones?
Just 1.
Okay. That puts me at -4. Wait, no. -1, sorry.
All right. -1. All right. That means you are going to have to make a morale test immediately. Difficulty 4. Remember, you can spend morale or you can spend points from investigative points to kind of get a bonus to this. If you fail, you have to tell me why you're no longer active, like you fainted or you ran away in fear, that kind of stuff, whatever it is. So keep that in mind. As this could potentially take you at sight at a fight.
I'll spend 2 points of my morale to this test.
Okay. Well, D6 plus 2. And see how it goes.
Got a 4.
Okay. 4 is a success. Exactly. You remain in the fight. Difficulties of all your general ability tests will increase by 1 until at or above 0 morale. Okay. Then, unfortunately, there's another one in the pit with you, and they're going to turn their attention to you since Chauncey was yeeted out of it. So this other one is going to come at you. I think this one is going to just do I think it's going to try to possess you necessarily. It's instead just going to do a sway attack. What do you think? So, Vincent, you tell me, what is something that you would hear, perhaps, while you were in the prisons beneath the old summer palace that caused you fear or caused you something? Like, what is something that bothered you when you were down there?
A lot of voices that whispered in my head telling about the horrible things that they've seen, horrible things that happened to them.
That is exactly what you hear as there's one of these fairly normal human-looking ghosts leans up against Vincent's ear and begins to whisper, and that is exactly what you hear. It's a 5. So this is going to be a total of 4 points of morale damage against you.
Okay, I have 4 grit still, so I take 0.
Okay, so you managed from the spend to withstand that. Okay, then the other 6 aren't, there's actually 7 more, but 6 aren't going to attack any of you. Instead, those of you who can see these things see that they begin to flock to the various grotesqueries. There's grotesques, the little sculptures that you see on the shelves and on some of the heaps. And as they enter into them, you see that they begin, all those little sculptures begin to suddenly move. These faces that look hideous with strange teeth, tongues coming out of ears, eyes larger than giant melons, and they all begin to kind of activate. But that's their action for this round. The last one, however, is going after Pelletier, and is going to attempt to possess Pelletier so that Arkadiy can kill him. Okay. All right. So here we go. Okay. Arkadiy, I'll just, I don't see, he would, no, you know what? He's a supporting character. I can do what I want with him. Vincent, you see a ghost move in the direction of Pelletier and all of a sudden disappear into him. And he just like, and he starts twisting around like he has been possessed. Okay. So that one is in Pelletier's body. And then it will come to Pelletier's turn. Oh, wait, he's mine. Did I just totally screw you guys over? I think I did.
Okay. Does he still get a turn now that he's a bad guy?
I mean, he hasn't gone. He hasn't acted. So I don't see any reason why he shouldn't get to act.
It's just because it's mean. That's the reason.
It is.
I like
mean.
this.
He should get a
I
go.
like this.
I'll be nice and give you guys back the initiative because
I like this.
Pelletier, he's going to turn and he sees Fortuna. As he's probably closest to Fortuna at this point. Actually, no, there's actually three of you. There's Fortuna, Chauncey, Solavita. I'll roll a D3 to see who he goes after. He's going to go after Fortuna. All right, so Fortuna, he's going to come racing after you. And he's not going to do anything other than just kind of try to tackle you to the ground. It looks like he's just going to do a fighting maneuver, basically. And he's going to try to tackle you to the ground. All right. So, okay. You can take so I've set the difficulty again. I've passed my test. So essentially you can either make sure I'm doing this correctly, make sure it's not a little bit different. So roll attack. If it's successful, you have to either accept the effect, which is you get tackled to the ground, or you suffer damage equal to the difficulty -2. What would you like to do? It's going to be health damage this time too, since he's physically tackling you.
So I feel like I would try my best not to get knocked to the ground.
Okay, so you're going to take damage.
Yeah.
All right. Take 4 points of health damage. As he tries to tackle you, you move a bit, but in the process, you get kind of thrown back into one of these shelves, which you smash against them and they kind of collapse and fall on you here and there. So you'll take 4 points of damage, but you are not knocked prone. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give it to Vincent because Vincent's the ghost guy. It's a new round. Vincent, you are in this pit with 2. You're hearing the types of voices that you haven't heard in quite some time. You hear the sounds of the rest of your family is starting to panic a bit. What would you like to do?
I'm going to use some sorcery on the ghost. I'll use my Orb of Tears, and I'll give the ghosts visions and memories of their lives, happy moments, times they were praised, times they were accomplished things, times they lived, and try to take like the anger and wrath that they're enforcing on us out of them.
Can I ask a little bit of a question on it? If I want to do a teamwork attack with Vincent, would I be able to? It says I can use my health or my damage when he's doing a morale thing, and it'll add to his damage.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to go before him to be able to do that, or can I just support him in his attack now?
It would technically be on your turn.
Okay.
It says on your turn, you pick an ally to boost, then make a sorcery sway. But since this is the start of the round, I'm fine. If that's your plan, we can say you go first, and then we toss it over Vincent. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was either Chauncey or Vincent if I could do Vincent in this moment. But yeah, so I'll just roll some damage, and that will add to yours, Vincent.
Well, you would roll a sorcery attack against its health or morale threshold. If it's successful, he would get plus 1d6 on his damage to that target.
Oops, I did a spend instead of a roll. 1 second. Okay, I'll put the 7.
So you passed, so then you get a 1d6 damage.
As it does. Additional.
Yeah.
So Vincent. So there's two of these in the pit. Solvita is probably calling out to one. What do you want to do, man? So you're going to target, are you trying to do a corruption spend to affect an area? Or are you just trying to target one?
Let's see if I have corruption left. Okay, I do have 1 point. I'll try to get a big group of them affected in this.
Okay. I would say you'd probably be able to get the three that haven't gone, like there's three that haven't gone into something else. So there's three that are still in substantial form. Everything else is either in a statue, one of these grotesques, or it's in Pelletier. So I'll say maybe you get the three, and I'll even let you say you get Pelletier too. The one possessing him.
I'll spend 3 points of sorcery. Let's check.
Okay.
I got a 7.
Okay. 7 definitely hits.
Okay.
So go ahead and you get plus 1d6 from Solavita. 7 is not enough to get like anything beyond this, but you are doing the corruption spend to get. You're spending 1 point of corruption? Did I hear that right?
1 point.
Okay, so that's going to be basically 3 damage. So you're going to get 3 damage to all within point blank range of the target. So we'll say the ones I've already defined. We'll say. Okay, so it's all morale, right?
Yeah, it's all morale. Total 9.
Okay. The one that is trying to eat Fortuna's head, the ghost that was, I should say, you can see suddenly he sort of parts into all these tiny little bits and pieces. The other two, however, while they slow, and you can see they look very confused. Any sort of strange, like malshapen forms in their face or their bodies begin to write back into like this normal humanoid form. They seem to slow, but they don't poof just yet. Okay.
So that means that Pelletier is no longer taken over?
No, Pelletier will take that damage because...
Okay.
So Pelletier basically takes... Going to be a total... considering the grit I have... Actually, no, it would be Pelletier's grit at this point. So he would end up taking 8 points. Okay, never mind. Pelletier falls down. You see Pelletier fall to the ground as he just took 8 points of morale damage, and you just see him collapse. Okay. All right. Okay, so who would you like to go next, Vincent?
Send it over to Fortuna.
All right, Fortuna. You just got slammed against these shelves. There are now all these grotesque statues that are beginning to animate. And then you can see that one of these ghosts is poof. Pelletier tried to get up to come at you again, but then suddenly collapsed once more as Vincent's spell, which kind of like wafted out. And they see, I'm not sure, like, would they see anything, Vincent? Like, or is it just all like voice? Like, are you just reaching out with your voice, or was there some like visual component to the cast?
Yeah, I'd say there's like corruption or like something visible to spells when I spend. Yeah. It's more of like a misty sort of.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I had to roll corruption because I spent corruption.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. So I said, you spent corruption. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that corruption check. Okay, so let me pull that back up.
I got a 6. I think it should be fine.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. So did you internalize or externalize it, I should say?
Let's go externalize.
Okay, so it externalized. It affects all your allies in the short term, scars the area in the long term. All allies within medium range or closer. So I'll say everybody but Arkadiy must make a morale test with a difficulty of 3 plus 1 per point of corruption spent. So that's 4. Well, actually, before you do that, you did make the check yourself, which is what's done for internalizing.
Oh, that's what it is.
So yeah, you internalized it. So unless you wanted to like retcon that, like,
unless you want to hurt us all.
I just forgot how it worked, but that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Never mind. You're good. You're set. All right. So next up is Fortuna.
Okay. So Fortuna is going to yell to Arkadiy. They have taken over the figures. You can fight them now. And so she'll make sure that Arkadiy is aware. Like, get your ass back in here. We need you.
We shall see, Fortuna. Dear sweet Fortuna.
So Fortuna wants to. So she has this this token that she wants to use. So it's the token of the constricting serpent.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to prevent a foe from moving. So she wants to. I was going to do this with Pelletier, but then Pelletier is kind of taken out of this at the moment. So I want to kind of go to whichever one of these grotesques now seems closest.
Yeah.
To us. That's what I want to try to basically restrain this serpent. So if I use a mover that restrains someone physically or mentally, the maneuver's difficulty is raised by +2.
Okay, so you got to make your check, and it's I think it's you said a +2. You said. Can't remember what I put on it.
So it's. And then if someone tries to restrain me, it goes the other way.
You're physically moving towards one of these grotesques. You pull out the constricting serpent, which is probably going to launch like a series of serpents out from it to try to wrap around this thing, which is like the size of a dog. These things aren't like enormous. Like they're much smaller than you guys. But you wrap it around. So go ahead and give me, it would be a warfare test. So give me a warfare probably. And plus, like the difficulty would be +2 if you succeed.
Okay. So I don't have warfare, but can we say I can do this anyway because I have the token?
Do you have athletics? I would take athletics too if you've got that.
I have neither of those two.
Okay. I think you can actually roll warfare with a -1, I believe, right? Even if you don't have it.
Yeah, it's -1 or -2. Let me look at that again.
Just go ahead and roll -1. Let's keep it moving.
Okay. I rolled a 6.
Okay. So a 6 total?
So I rolled a 6 on the die, and so I think it was a +2 and then a -1.
No,
so I think it'll be a 7.
So it'll be the difficulty will be 7. So then he has to choose between getting restrained or taking the damage. I'm going to take the damage. And what basically happens is that these serpents come out, wrap around it, constrict, and then you see as the grotesque statue breaks into like a two or three dozen pieces, dust begins to fall. And like the whole statue just falls to the ground.
And I don't think anyone's seen this before because I haven't used it before. And so she just sort of is holding this thing out and she's unsure of what to do. And so she's just sort of holding it out and you just see all of that happen as she's yelling for Arkadiy to get his ass in here. And so I think Fortuna will pass to Arkadiy.
Okay. Arkadiy.
So Arkadiy, being contrary, instead of rushing in there immediately, you see his eyes kind of defocus. So tell me if this is something I can do. If he spends a prophecy spend, can he like pull on the threads of fate and try to see if there's a mechanism by which he can quiet these spirits? Like,
yeah, I like that.
Turning off the lamps or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned that because as your eyes begin to sort of look back in, you start to step down the stairs and you look in, and maybe this isn't even you really doing it. Maybe this is like the vision of you moving into the room. You're seeing Fortuna struggle. You're seeing Vincent. You look down at the desk. You see those flickering lamps. You see the quills are no longer twitching, obviously, but the lamps are still flickering, and like. You just see yourself maybe throwing your axe down or hopping down, smashing one. And in doing so, like one of the grotesques to the side just bursts into pieces. And it does seem like you nailed it right on the head.
So that's what he's going to do. He's going to immediately, as soon as he gets that vision, leap into the pit with his sea axe and just go to town on these lamps.
Give me... give me an athletics test as like you were getting the vision. Now you're racing in and leaping over. Give me an athletics test to see if you traverse the whole ground without any difficulty. And as long as you don't fail, I'll say you can do this all in one turn.
All right, I will spend.
Like, where are you going, Arkadiy? Where are you?
he runs by. He's like, no, do not worry, Fortuna. I have planned.
Okay.
He spent 3 points of athletics, got a 9 in total.
You swing down, and I'm going to use that as your attack roll as well. There's no reason to do a separate roll. That was such a good roll. You slam down. With a 9, that is effectively for these things would have essentially a health threshold of 3. So you would be able to go 1, 2, 3 over. So you would be able to target a total of 3 of these. You'd be able to take 3 of these out.
Nice.
So as you leap down, you start swinging at the desk. Sometimes the desk gets splintered, but then you see the lanterns just go flying off and exploding. And we see as the grotesquerie, like some of the grotesqueries that are coming out of the alcoves, just burst into like 1,000 pieces, one after the
You
other.
may say welcome now, Fortuna, if you wish.
Yes, thank you, Arkadiy. Thank you very, very much. I had faith in you the whole time.
Yes, that is what it sounded like in your voice.
Okay, Arkadiy, who's going next?
So
Levita,
Chauncey.
Vincent, and Fortuna have all gone, so it's just Chauncey at this point.
how many of the ghosts are left?
There are 2 ghosts. There are 2 grotesques that are still functioning in the fight.
Crap on a cracker. I'll give it over to the ghosts.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Seeing what you're doing, I think the 2 grotesqueries you'll see will effectively like leap off of their shelves, and like gargoyles, they have these little wings. They're malshapen, so their flight is like this awkward looping thing. But I think they will go after the one that is attacking these lanterns. So that's you, sir.
It was anticipated.
Okay, so these technically have a different stat block now. Okay, so they're going to they're going to make some warfare tests at you. I think the strength is already banked in. Okay, so yeah, this is going to make an attack. I'm going to. By the way, in terms of refresh tokens, you guys are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4,
Ooh.
5. You guys are looking at 15 refresh tokens that come back to you.
My gosh.
Between all the ones that you've defeated. Okay. All right. This is going to be a total of 10 against you as this thing swoops, leaping down like a bee that's just almost out of shape. And then its mouth with these crooked teeth tries to bite you.
Yeah, that's a pretty good hit.
Okay.
My threshold's 4, so that's a big old crit.
It's a crit. Okay, so it's an extra d6. It's a bad roll. That is a total of 7 points of damage.
All right, I've got 1 point of armor, so I take 6.
Okay.
All right.
All right. The second one will come sweeping down as well. And there are now two of these that are attacking him. All right, that's not a crit this time. It's a 6.
Okay.
So it's a
Good hit.
regular attack. All right, that is a total of 4 points of damage this time.
So 3. So I'm at 1. One
You're
health.
at 1. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. Then they'll have the ghosts go. One of them is by Vincent. We'll make another one of these fear attacks on Vincent. We'll continue to babble into his ear. All these haunting things, bringing you back to the old summer palace. Okay, just gonna make a sway attack. That's just a 4, not a good roll. Okay,
Still be
still
good.
good. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 points of damage, minimum damage. 3 points of morale damage to you, Vincent.
My grit will defend.
Okay, so for the rest of the scene,
Yeah, for this
One. Oh yeah, once.
wasn't sure if it was. I wasn't sure if it was the turn.
Yeah,
of the
this
scene.
this
one.
spirit site one is the rest of the scene, I believe.
Okay. Second one will do the same thing. All right. This is a 7. All right. What's your morale threshold? It's a 4?
It's a
3?
3. It's a 3.
All right. Technically. Never mind. Okay. That is going to be 6 points of morale damage this time.
Okay, that'll break through. I'll take 2. Chauncey
Does that
get a
put you at?
-5. Is that the next tier?
Okay. That means I think you don't need to roll it yet. I think it's when you get to 6. Let me double check.
Okay.
So Yeah, I think it's when you get the -6. So
Okay,
I think
so
you're
I'm one off.
okay until -6. Yeah. Okay. All right. Then that is their turn. That is everybody that I have left. And it would go to Chauncey now. Chauncey, there are these 2 statues that are attacking Arkadiy. There are 2 ghosts that are attacking Vincent. Fortuna just shot some serpents out of her necklace and broke one of these statues.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Like a badass.
I will continue going after ghosts, I think.
Okay, man.
You there? What's wrong with you? You see how this is going. You know that you've ruined yourself. The rest of your compatriots, they made mistakes, but you have a chance to, maybe you could make supervisor. You know, climb the ladder, so to speak. Let their mistakes be your gain. But stop this right now, you foolish spirit. Come on, get some sense in you. And I'll try and do a spray attack. I'll put a couple points into it. Maybe we'll get an 8.
Maybe. Get an 8? Okay.
Yep.
8 is good enough if you wanted to target both of them.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so give me your damage.
D6 plus 1.
I think you're going to get them both. As long as you don't roll absolute shit, you should be okay.
Oh, don't curse me like that. How about a 5?
5 is enough.
Hey, there
And
you
you
go.
see as like both of them turn to you, and it looks like they're about to launch themselves, but then finally like their heads kind of split a bit, and they get this weird look in their face, and then poof, they just pop into all this little spectral dust that begins to.
Eternity's a
move out.
long time to be worthless.
Okay. New round. Chauncey, who goes next?
Vincent.
We've almost cleared the room. Let's keep it going. And I'll attack the one that's been trying to get into my mind.
That one's gone. The only things that are
Oh,
left are the physical statues that are attacking Arkadiy.
Physical ones. Then I will help out Solvita with a teamwork attack.
Okay.
Return the favor.
It works pretty well.
So I'll do a sorcery myself.
All right. What does it look like as you try to? Do you like shoot your chains out to keep?
Yeah,
them
this will be
still?
a
What do
chains. This will be restricted a bit, give it a better angle of attack. I've got this one.
Okay.
Roll a 7 on my sorcery.
Absolutely. So you see this thing wrap around, and kind of one of these things is trying to chomp down on Arkadiy. You manage to just yank it right off of him, so the teeth can't bite in again. Solavita.
Well, much appreciated, Cousin Vincent. And you'll see the stone just wrapping up to the elbows as she goes in for the sorcery blast. Nice.
a big roll.
8 to hit.
So many 6s tonight.
Okay,
Yeah.
eight is good, and you could do your blast with that. That is enough. That is not enough to go 2 over. It's enough to go 1 over. So you'll be able to get 2. There's only 2 to hit anyway, though, so it's fine.
Okay. And then because of Vincent, I'm getting 2d6 now, right?
That's correct.
Cool. Love that. Oh, nice. 7 points of damage as she just punches into one of them.
Okay, it should be +1 on top of that. So I think it's 8. So it's 8 points. Okay. All right. They don't poof, unfortunately. But you do see pieces of them begin to start breaking off. But that is not enough with their statues. They have significant amount of armor to protect against health. They are stony, you might say. But they will take some of that.
Tony.
Okay. Who goes next?
Ooh, I'm going to. Arkadiy, your turn. Punch them from the other side, or whatever you like to do with your little sea axe.
Break on through from the other side.
And he shouts up, as I said, destroy lamps to kill ghosts, and he will attack the rest of the lamps.
Okay, absolutely. Go right ahead and make an attack. They have you know that they have a health threshold of 3.
Spend 3 warfare on it. Get a
Okay.
7 in total.
Which is exactly, which actually no, is more than exactly enough. You can attack 2 of them. Roll your damage.
Arkadiy is always so appalled at our abysmal tactics.
Yes, he is. Only 4 points of damage.
That's still enough. These things don't have much. As you just swing down, these lanterns fall, they crash. You can see the whatever was inside of it, like this sort of spectral lighter fluid begins to spill out, and then they just collapse, and you get kind of rained on a little bit as some of the flying kind of bee-shaped monstrosities begin to fall down and rain stones atop of you. And as you all take a breath and look around, a few things. First, Pelletier is on the ground, and as far as you all know, he attacked Fortuna. He is unconscious currently. His state you're not sure of. Fortuna, you can see sprawled across and on the ground in front of you, there are all manner of like scrolls and things that have collapsed from some of them, and they seem to talk about ritual and this and that, and you catch the sight of what looks like the Hall of Thirst on one of them. You can see like this scribbling. But more than that, you notice on one of the shelves where they had fallen that there is kind of embedded into the wall some kind of safe with the main wall and crest on it. And then, Vincent, you can still see that whatever it is that you managed to do for the ghosts, that hasn't affected the pedestal on the other side of the room. Chauncey and Solavita, you notice that the busted, I'll say, Chauncey, you notice, first of all, that the different spectral motes are kind of, it's not like they're dispersing. In some cases, you see them actually starting to come back together here and there, slowly, but you would guess that you guys didn't actually defeat the ghosts. You've just sort of deterred them momentarily. And similarly, Solavita, you can see the little bits of stone and dust that from where these grotesques sort of exploded are slowly beginning to piece themselves back together. Not extraordinarily fast. It's not like it's going to take like an hour or something like that for these to piece together, but you can tell that they are not gone. They are regenerating in some way. And then the final thing is, Arkadiy, your vision almost betrays you for a moment, because for a second you think maybe this didn't actually happen. This was all part of the prophecy. As you whirl around to check to make sure everyone else is okay, a bit of vertigo hits you as the prophecy continues to hit, and it's like you can see that what's actually happening and what you're seeing happen are fighting at odds. And even your hand, you can actually see swirling one way and then your real hand going the other. And you hear a voice, 2 voices, in fact, that seem to be echoing down from the stairs, from where Pelletier's study is. One of them, as you listen closely, sounds like a woman's voice, very familiar, Althavira. And then you hear the sounds of a man's voice, sounds extraordinarily unfamiliar. But as they talk, you realize the man is like, "Burn it all before the drunken fool, your descendant, arrives." And you hear Althavira is like, "But he's a drunkard, but he's no fool." You can tell they're conversing. "He will support me. And if Fortuna does not know the ritual, she will have no choice but to support me as well. And if she supports me, then the rest will fall in line." And the man's voice kind of comes in. It's like, "And if they do not, I have ways to destroy them, each of them, in all sorts of wonderful, special ways." And then you hear Altavira's voice kind of come back again. It's like this conversation is just wafting down the stairs. "I have no doubt you do, Castellar. I have no doubt you do." And then the foundation shifts again. You feel like this rumbling. All of you kind of have to steady yourself. And you hear the man's voice once more. He mumbles something incoherent. And then he says, "The Thurlos is unfolding soon. We must make the offering to appease the guardian.
If we appease the Guardian, it will leave us alone, and it will also prove quite useful for us when the time comes to eliminate dissidents and the audience themselves. And you watch Arkadiy as the voices are getting louder as this conversation is happening, and you see emerging into this room Arkadiy, or excuse me, you see Altavera, and you can see like it's almost like there's this shimmering second body kind of coming in and coming out. Your use of Vincent's spirit sight helping you, and it's at that point that the vision fades, and you think you just saw a conversation between the two of them as they descended down into the scriptorium. And we will end it there. We'll pick up on that afterwards next week, and we'll see what you guys do next. That's that.
Oh my goodness!
Awesome.
Oh my goodness! That
you would have gotten
no. Oh dear.
2. So in total, you would have gotten, I think, 6 more. I think you had 2 more to go. Yeah, 6 more. Looks like.
So 21 refresh
21.
tokens.
I'm counting that right.
if-
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24.
Yeah.
Actually, 27 in total because there's only 1 that you haven't accounted for.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, each of them is
Okay.
worth 3.
So 5 apiece plus 2
Yeah.
extra.
If I can grab the 2 extra, I can just pump it into bind wounds and use it immediately on Arkadiy.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I thought you might appreciate that. How about that? So 5 each, and then the 2 goes to Arkadiy via bind wounds, which gives you 6 health back, I believe.
Thank you so much.
Sounds
And
good.
while they're doing all that wonderful stuff, I'm going to go ahead and close this down as we're a couple minutes past. So next up for us, we've got tomorrow, we got some Magnus Archives as Steven's going to be running us through our Cypher System game. Saturday, we've got Call of Cthulhu. Monday, if you like Gumshoe, we have another Gumshoe game we're starting up. We just did our session 0 of Time Watch. And so this Monday, we're starting up with our first session. Same designer, Kevin Cole, same system, just sci-fi time travel stuff. And then Tuesday, we're off for a couple weeks in between games, but we will be back. Kipster will be running another game for us. And next Thursday, we'll be back with more Swords of the Serpentine. I should also mention Huckleberry, huckberryrpg.com. Check out Steven's game. It is a wonderful cinematic horror action Western deal going on. And then also check out our friends, Garblag Games. I know that you play with, I'm not sure if the Thursday game, Otherscape game is back yet, but I know that you play on Thursdays with them. Is it next week? Are we back next week? Okay.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with Otherscape, and this week will be Star Trek 2nd edition.
And if you
Lower
watch their Star Trek edition, you might see a character that you know in that session.
That is true.
What? Really?
What?
Cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Whoa. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's I'm giving hints in case you've watched ours. Okay, so let's go ahead and raid somebody. Who are we gonna raid? I probably should have this ready. Let's do
There's
do
someone
Insomnia Night.
playing. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I was doing something like that. This is what we usually do. Easy peasy. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Good night.
See ya.
Arrivederci.